to everybody. Witam Państwa, I think is the correct expression for all Poles. I'm absolutely delighted that you're all here. It's a great honour for me and also would be for Tadeusz that you're all here. We're here obviously to celebrate the launch of his book End of Ends in English, which some of you have kindly thought, and also the annual prize which we're going to be running in his name. I want to thank some of you from coming from very far away. Poland, my stepson Janek is here from Poland, as is Roland, a colleague of his. And also people have come from all over the country, for which I'm very grateful, as far as Cornwall, Devon, Bath, Yorkshire, so the Lake District. We've covered the whole country, I think, with friends and family and colleagues. So thank you very much for that. Also, Tadeusz's marvellous medical team of Dr. Kavanagh and Professor Spicer are here, for which I'm truly grateful, and they were very helpful to him in the last part of his care. I'm going to hand over to Charles Boyle now, the marvellous CB Editions, and he's going to talk a little bit about the book. We're then going to have 3 very short readings, and then you'll have to be bored with me again while I introduce Francis to talk about the judges and the prize.
Whatever else you can say about this book, whether you've read it or not, this is a read book. And I hope it will be read by all of you who are here, by many, many, many other people. And that was, even if it was a pun, it was a terrible one. But I do want to say that, God, the English language. I mean, we did have some typesetting difficulties with some of the accents on the Polish characters. But compared to the English language, it's child's play. Present tense I read, past tense I read. But yet on the page which you are reading, they're both spelt in exactly the same way. We have to get through this somehow. On the title page, translated by Tadeusz Bradecki and Kate Sinclair. And I have wondered sometimes about the process of that. I mean, did Kate do a complete draft and show it to Tadeusz? And he said, no, that's not what I meant at all. Or did Tadeusz do a draft and show it to Kate? And Kate said, no, you can't say it like that in English. And I could actually put Kate on the spot and ask her now. I'm not going to, but it occurs to me that if I did, it would be like breaking the fourth wall. And if Tadeusz was directing this evening, which in a way he is, he might have approved of that. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to say 2 things. Firstly, I'm enormously grateful to Kate for entrusting to me, and I'm the publisher of a very, very small West London-based press. I do about 4 or 5 books a year. But the End of Ends fits in very nicely, because actually a lot of the books I publish, are they fiction, are they non-fiction, are they poetry, are they prose? I mean, these are kind of questions, life's too short really to bother about these. These are books. And the End of Ends fits in wonderfully. And the other thing to say is that I don't actually need to ask Kate about the process of translation, because the proof of the pudding is here. It reads absolutely seamlessly. It was a joint venture, as is this, between Kate and Tadeusz, and now everybody who is here. There'll be more on the prize, which itself is the conjunction between the book and the prize itself is seamless. And there will be 3 very short readings from the book, which can be bought, by the way, at some stage from this desk. And I will hand over to Carol Welsh. Thank you.
compensate with the prize as well. So Case asked me to do a reading from the book. It's incredibly hard to choose one because there's so many wonderful pieces, but I think this one gives some idea of both the book and also, just as Charles mentioned actually, the spirit of the prize. So, these discussions are about theatre and about literature, and about the numerous connections between them, as I have written above. Let us be precise, therefore, in what this unfinished catalogue of non-essential issues is not about. Well, it is not a novel, or a cookbook, or a telephone book. It is not a catalogue of characters. It is not a dream dictionary or a Baedeker. It is not a diary, a memoir, a manifest, a report, or a memorandum. It is not travel writing, reportage, or a list of intentions. It is not an announcement, advertisement, proclamation, a planned argument, proof, evidence, or pledge. This catalogue basically does not defend anything and does not demand anything. It does not try to take any side, it does not hold any position, it does not offer any decision. Altogether, it is much easier to enumerate what this catalogue does not do than to indicate what it actually does. Well, this catalogue is basically full of doubts. Very often, therefore, it questions, it researches and asks, speculates and hesitates. Not being strong in anything, this catalogue is a thin stream of thought or a pondering. The pondering, whose aim, as we have known for a long time, and here is a quote from Hamlet, as we have known for a long time, both at the first and now, was and is, to hold, as 'twere, the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time, his form and pressure.
Hello, I'm Mike Sims. I would say it's been a real privilege to be involved in the Tadeusz Bradecki Kate Sinclair project, which we're celebrating tonight. It's been intense. It's also been hugely exciting. I'm going to read another excerpt from the book, from chapter 76. It has a startling opening. I've given you fair warning, I think. That Carl is a total mindfuck. To kill his own fiancée, a strong man, but a nutter. Jack Reacher and Spencer sit having a beer at the Angels in Ashland, Oregon, and browse through The Robbers by Friedrich Schiller. They don't say which gun he fired, Reacher continues, but it could have been a Heckler & Koch, 9mm. Very fast, light, half-automatic. Spencer looks at him leniently. Jack, he says, that was the 18th century. Even the Colt wasn't in circulation then. Spencer reads quite a lot, and it may be that he can quote Milton from memory. Reacher does not read anything, even the newspapers. Spencer has a flat and his private gumshoes office in Boston, Massachusetts. Reacher does not have any fixed address and does not even have a car. He wanders, as I did then. He wanders across the whole of the US on Greyhound buses or hitchhiking, and the most incredible adventures happen to him in various places. He emerges from all of them, unharmed, of course, but the corpses around him are usually numerous. In Persuader, for example, particularly at the end, it is a slaughterhouse. On the other hand, Reacher says that Amelie was asking for it. Reacher, the son of a soldier, spent most of his life in the US military police as a prosecutor, and because of that, very few can stand up to him. Fired from the army some time ago, Reacher deals nowadays with various mafiosi, psychos and other wackos with whom neither the police nor the feds can cope. And without fail, he even had to stake out 2 guys who were attempting to kill a vice president at the request of the feds. Women, sighs Reacher. Women, Spencer repeats, and sips a swig of Budweiser.
Within this book, as well as the multiple subjects that Tadeusz looked into, there is also smuggled in a novel, which is been called by somebody kindly a time-bending love story. The two main characters, Umberto and Audrey, meet each other in a variety of strange, weird and wonderful different dimensions and settings. And this is from the end of the novella. She appeared to him a few days later in a narrow alley in Trasterbury. He was returning from a longer walk in the city. Evening had just fallen and the streetlights were glittering. She looked like a teenager. She had not changed at all. Her red hair was spinning onto the collar of her blue coat. She had a book in her hands. She was serious. She was looking at him steadily, her eyes wide open, but she kept a few meters distance between them. He blinked and froze. I had to see you one more time, Umberto. I had to check if you were all right. Audrey, he whispered. Audrey, come back to me, please. I'm with you all the time, Umberto. Not right beside you, but a little further away. You did not see me, but I am here. I now have to do another bit of thanking. The prize is something that's been enormously important for me to try and set up as an ongoing legacy to Tadeusz, and I've been aided and abetted in that process by three wonderful people, Mike Sims, who you've just kindly read, Rosa Thorpe, who is here, who's been a tower of strength and brilliant organisation, and also Gina Rosner, who's kindly helped us with press and publicity, and we've liaised happily with marvellous Charles Boyle as well. In addition, I want to thank the three people who've kindly agreed to be our judges. So Francis Bufford, who will come up in a moment, Carol Welsh, who you've just met, and also a very important person in Tadeusz's life, Christoph Zanussi, who was his great friend and collaborator for 45 years. And they made 20 films together, so they know each other very well. Christoph sadly had an accident a few weeks ago and had to go into hospital and have an operation. So he's with us in spirit, but he's not allowed to fly at the moment. But he said to me last night that he wanted to say how delighted he was to be part of Tadeusz's legacy, partly because it could never be big enough, but partly also because Tadeusz was such a modest person that he would be embarrassed by it. So I thought I would just say that before I introduce you to Francis. And there is one final person I really have to thank, because she is a super rock, and that is Sarah Lotz. Okay.
You have heard just in the three readings what extraordinary variety there is between the covers of The End of Ends, and what Kate, as the founder of the prize, wants to celebrate with it is the intellectually adventurous spirit that you can see in that book, within which, as it did in Tadeusz Bradecki's life, fiction and drama meet, and philosophy and science fiction and languages and cultures of all of the European nations which he knew and worked in and loved. Just as he himself was a kind of enlightenment in one person, The End of Ends is quite like a kind of miniature enlightenment in one book. And it pays particular attention to the fertile, exciting places between two genres, between drama and poetry, drama and the novel, between the languages, between the settled ideas which are getting stirred up all the way through. And that attention to what goes between is what we're going to do in the prize, which I am delighted to be chairing for the first year, because I myself have always been fascinated by edges and ambiguous places between and what you can do with them in writing. But I said The spirit of the book is what we want to celebrate in the prize, and this is important because we mean the spirit, not the letter. We are not looking in the prize for books that do the same thing as the end of ends, which is lucky really because there are no books that do the same thing. But for books that do equally bold and equally surprising and equally hard to categorise things. There are more details on the prize website, which is now up and going. Detailed information about the rules and exclusions and what counts and what doesn't. But I would say if anyone in the room is a publisher or a writer or is thinking of submitting things for it, submissions open in September, that if you are in doubt, enter it, surprise us. I look forward very much to standing here in 1 calendar year's time, probably with a beetroot martini in my hand, and an amazing set of books to talk about and to report on. But one more thing. The prize is a memorial for Tadeusz Bradecki. It's a gift to the world in his honour from Kate Sinclair, and we would quite like to give her something small in return. So, Kate, back up again.
Now I think you have to get a few more martinis down you, and there's some very good Georgian wine and canapes coming, so please stay and celebrate it with us. Thank you very much.